Hello ladies and gentlemen, Tacoma SRT5 coming back at you today with a how-to video. Today's video is about how to use a ridge reamer, it's called. It's a tool that cuts the ridge off the inside of a cylinder wall of an engine, which basically occurs, you've got your piston that goes up and down inside the cylinder, and you've got rings on those pistons. The rings only travel so far. So as they travel, they wear on the cylinder wall. Again, they only go up to a certain point, so they stop there every time. And with a worn engine or an engine with a lot of miles, it's probably going to have a ridge. This tool is designed to cut that ridge so you can remove the piston without damaging the piston or the ring or anything along the way, hopefully. So I'm going to do a camera flip. Here we go. I got this from Oreilley. I don't know if that's the brand or what, 36500 Ridge Reamer. And here's the tool itself. It's got three sides. It's going to anchor itself to your cylinder. And this is an adjustment screw. As you tighten that screw, that pushes down on this. It pushes out. Try and hold still for reference here. As you tighten that bolt, the whole thing gets bigger. So this one's done. All those metal shavings come off the edge here. Before there was a ridge and I couldn't remove the piston. I had the engine upside down and then I flipped it right side up and realized what was going on. I'm going to do a rebuild on this engine. This is just the beginning, but yeah, so I guess it really doesn't matter what type of engine, as long as if you're using this tool, you probably know how to use a ratchet and everything else along the way. This slides in like this. It's got little hangers that hang on the top of the block. And you see, I've already used it once, so it's pretty snug. Well, it's not snug, but I can wiggle it. This particular one here uses a 14 millimeter. If I can do this one-handed, and I tighten that bolt, and it's still wobbly, of course. And you don't want to really crank on this bolt. See, that still wiggles a little. It's going to wiggle. It's just kind of how it is. Snug, back it off just a little bit. And snug a little bit more here. And now it's pushing out on the sides of the cylinder wall. This is the same as this, but over here there's a blade behind that little guard there. And here's what we'll do. It's kind of difficult because it's recommended that you use two hands for this. I have noticed in doing only this cylinder alone before I get started on this V8, if the blade is here, you want to be pulling away from the blade, and it's a lot less likely to catch. As I knock my stuff over. Oh shit. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Well, anyway. This is how not to use the ridge reamer, but let's dry that off. Hang on. Well, not everything goes to plan all the time. My approach on this, I don't know how tight that tightening nut inside this is supposed to be. So the way same thing as the way I cook my steak. Low heat, you can always cook it more. What you can't do is cook it less once it's burned. So again, if your blade is over here, I have found that if you're at about a 90-degree angle, give or take, and you're pulling instead of pushing it, basically pushing it into the block, it goes a lot smoother. But that's it. That's going around fairly smoothly. I really don't know how much more else there is to this. But little by little, it cuts away at the side of the block. You can see how that fresh, this will focus, that fresh metal right there, and all the shavings down there. Yeah, shavings is no good in a motor or an engine, but this whole thing is coming apart. It's going into a cleaner, doing the whole thing over. So this is just how to use this. Again, you tighten that bolt down and it squeezes. And here's the blade mechanism here. Little blade at the end. That's maybe, for reference, that's maybe, come on. That piece right up there. That's maybe 3/4 of an inch. And this has got a little counter bead thing that will press against the bottom of the block to make sure it's, I guess, tapered to an extent. But it seems to be working. It works pretty well. A little slow progress, but it does work. And I have a very good feeling after this edge is now gone that that piston will come right out. So hopefully that helps somebody. Have a good one.